Hey there, everyone. I wanted to give all of you just some feedback here in terms of your first tech report. Okay, I think my overall comment is number one, there's a few, the report needs to be, if you could decide to revise this, you need to make sure that you include someone to proofread just little things here and there, like for example summary, it's spelled with an A instead of with an E, and there are little things like that all through the report that in and of themselves are not a big deal, but when you add them all together they certainly take away from the credibility of the report. All right, so that would be certainly my first comment. My second comment, though, has more to do with who this is written for. To be honest with you, as I'm reading this, this doesn't seem necessarily like a technical report. This seems like just a paper about this particular new currency, cryptocurrency. I mean, that's really what it looks like. Like in here, there's the executive summary. Remember, it's supposed to be written for someone. It's supposed to be so someone can take action, right? There's an issue that that you've been asked to consider, and here are the factors that you've considered, and then you have a recommendation. But again, the whole time I was reading your report, it just doesn't it's not written for anyone in particular. It feels like it's just it doesn't read like a tech report. It reads more like a information report about a technology, and so I think that overall is probably the one thing that if you do decide to revise this, you're going to have to address mightily. There's no recommendation in here. Again, that's the number one issue that you're going to have to address. In your introduction, I think you do a good job here of giving it a little background in this particular new technology. You also so I think you've done a good job there, but however, there's no layout of the report. There are no sections. You don't tell us, okay, here are the things that, here's how this report is going to be laid out, which you need to do in the introduction. In the investigative methods section, you talk about, I think you've done a good job here of talking about the different factors that you take into account, like the cost of manufacture for a credit card versus the paper currency versus the actual the new technology. Although I was looking for you to maybe here talk about some of the what are the formulas that you addressed. This particular section, if you're going to keep this section, I would still use subheadings to separate them, to separate these the different discussions that you're having here. In the results section, when over here, this is probably the part where this was all really about the bitcoins, and this wasn't anything about this. Remember that the results section is the results and discussion section is supposed to be based on the investigative methods section, like things that you investigated, then you're going to give us the results and discussion. But really, in the results section, all you talked about is the actual new technology, and you went on and talked. I mean, and again, you provided good information on there, but these were not necessarily all issues that had that you. This is something that needed to be in the investigative section, and then you discuss it and tell us what it is you want us to consider out of that. The last section you discussed was the security section, which I think this was probably one of the strongest sections in there because it's definitely something that you had to take into account. So great job in doing that. Again, though, when you get to the recommendation, there is no recommendation. There's nothing for for someone to act upon in here. It's just sort of like, well, all in all, is right now, as if all the almighty dollar bill will be around. But again, this is sort of like a conclusion to a report in general, not necessarily to a technical report. All right. So audience is going to be something you're going to have to address if you want to move forward in terms of revising this quite a bit. All right. Thanks, everyone.